I don't like coconut water. It is very refreshing though, but
I hate it. Only in smoothies. I don't
I
like to
mean,
drink
unless
it
it's
by itself.
ice cold, and I just drink it without thinking about it, I just can't do it.
I'm
When it,
traumatized from a kid. We had a coconut tree outside our house in Haiti and cut it down. And one summer I was just eating coconuts, the water, and then I just got sick of it. And I was like, I just don't want to do it anymore.
It's one of those tastes where when when you mentally turn off on it, like it's all the way off. But when it's not
Mhm.
off, it tastes delicious. Like exhibit box there.
yeah,
I,
man. I
I don't
love it.
like how they describe coconut m- as meaty. I don't like that.
You don't like that?
It just
you
doesn't
don't you
sound
don't
right,
like a
man.
non-meat being described as meaty?
Why is it? Why do they call it coconut meat? Like, why would they call it meaty? That's weird.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3 on 3 podcast. I'm your host, Hans, here with my main man, Ev. How are you doing today, kind sir? How's everything going for you, man? Listen, man.
I feel like I needed to take a day off like the Knicks did.
Hey, poignant. Poignant. Also, Lou, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
You
I know
slept
you were
how
here
many
last
dudes?
time. How you been, brother?
Man, can't call it. Happy to be back here with the fellas. Some good basketball been happening. Ready to dive into it.
You know how
Nice.
on your Bible app or your Wordle when you have like a streak going, and then like
Mm,
you missed a day on it, and then you had to start
yeah,
your streak over. Lewis had to start his streak over, but
that's what it was,
stay with us though, Lou. Stay with us. Don't be discouraged.
man.
I'm working on it.
As always, we have the pod mamba conspicuously in the background, coaching us, making sure we are on point. Let's jump right into it, guys. We are in the playoffs. Each host will be discussed. We have games set at most as you're listening to us. All teams will have played game 4 and we'll be going to game 5 or on. So we're just going to discuss what we're seeing thus far in each series, what's intriguing, what's not intriguing, so forth and so forth. We're going to start with the East Coast. East Coast, shawty. All right. As we're recording, the Cavs were down Donovan Mitchell, and we thought it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to get blown out. But to the Cavs' credit, they did put up some fight. Garland came out and put up some points along with Mobley. Also, Struz found his jumper this game. I don't know if he had it packed too tight in his bag or I don't know what was going on, but he found his jumper. But nevertheless, they lost the game to the Celtics and they're now down 3-1 in this series. Evan, starting with you. When it comes to this Cavs Celtics series, are you more concerned with the Celtics playing with their food or their inability to get the job done? That's one thing. Or are you more concerned about the Cavs' future with, i.e., Donovan Mitchell? What concerns you more?
As it relates to this round, I'd say more concerned with the Cavs' future, from the standpoint that I was concerned about the Cavs' future coming into this round. We kind of talked about it last week. It was they were down 18 points in the game 7 to the Orlando Magic, in which their season was going to be over.
Yeah.
I don't think having a valiant, most likely 5-game effort against the Boston Celtics eliminates the questions that they were going to have coming into this off season. You've got a team where you've got Darius Garland, who is a shell of himself, hasn't looked the same since Donovan Mitchell came to the team. You've got Evan Mobley, who his best season was his rookie season. He plays like he's lost his balance or his cadence, so to speak. Right? He doesn't have that balance to his game, control of his game that he did in a series where Kristaps Porzingis is out, and his matchups consist of Al Horford, Luke Cornett, with an occasional touch of maybe a Jaylen Brown. He's not dominating. He's in his 3rd season. So you have that. You have Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen that look better when they're on the court together. The 4 of these players don't look like they blend well with one another. They still haven't found that key small forward position. Strus's shot has come and gone. He's more of a 2 than a 3. So they have a lot of pieces. They have a lot of assets, but I don't think that they fit together. And the challenge is the best asset that they have, Donovan Mitchell, they have no commitment that he wants to be there beyond his current contract. So those concerns existed before this series started. And I've seen nothing in this series that has, assuaded. I might have made that word up, but
Assuaded is a word. You're good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any of those concerns coming into this series. I've got some thoughts on the Celtics as well, but to answer your question on what is more, Cleveland.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I basically set you up because whichever one you picked, we're going to stay on that and then go to the next. So, you did an awesome job. So, Lou, sticking with the Cavs, I know we were talking about it a little bit before the show, our pre-show talk. We've seen a stark downfall in Garland's play, his energy, his scoring, and even his impact on the game has just seemed to nearly dissipate, one would argue. One can say that it looks like it's all Mitchell and nothing else. What do you attribute to Darius Garland kind of, I guess, losing his special stuff? I don't know, his secret stuff, Space Jam reference, if anybody gets it. What do you think is going on in Cleveland to where these guys were supposed to be a 1-2 combination that was supposed to be up there in the league, and now it's really looking like if they don't have Mitchell, they don't have anything else?
Well, what I will say is that I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say not having Mitchell, they don't have anything else, because, one of the things that we talked about that you had alluded to is the fact that he's a possession player, right? So he needs to get his reps. And with that being the case, this game that he just played as of now, playing game 4, he's doubled his scoring, doubled his points that he has scored all series thus far, right? So clearly he can. It's just a matter of does it work with him and Mitchell on the court, right? Does he remain in the shadow? Sometimes he looks like he doesn't necessarily know what his role is on the floor when Mitchell is playing. So trying to figure out how he fits as the piece of the puzzle. You would have hoped if you're Cleveland that they would have been able to mesh and give you a 1-2 combo like a Jaylen Brown and a Jason Tatum. But they look more like how, we've dealt with the Bulls with DeRozan and Levine. It's like, okay, but who's the guy and how do we, have a path forward here? I think it's a little bit clearer with, Mitchell being the guy, but what does Garland then figure out in his game to then supplement that for them to be as successful as it could be? And, you would have hoped having these 4 guys in Mitchell, Garland, Allen, and Mobley being able to give you enough where you can have two units where you really don't have any fall off. And we just haven't seen that with this team. Mobley, it clearly has been better with Allen being out, and seeing how Garland has been able to play in this last game with with Mitchell being out. It's pretty telling that they have not figured out, whether it's a coaching situation or not, that they haven't figured out how to construct this team to be able to maximize everybody's talents.
So you essentially, from what I'm saying, you have two main positions where your counterparts don't get along. So your guards don't play together well. Your forwards and big mans don't play together well. So I'm sorry, Cleveland fans. Let's say it's a foregone conclusion. They lose. Do you roll the dice next year?
Better. You have Niang as a forward, as a small forward. Dean Wade as a small forward. Like this piece that Evan was alluding to, like, you don't have this key part, which may be what is they're missing to kind of help it all gel together. We don't know, but from what we're seeing on the court right now, something ain't working, and it shows.
The challenge with Cleveland is that two non-shooting bigs just doesn't work in this version of the NBA. Looking at Mobley's free throw percentage coming out of college, I think the expectation was that he would expand his range. Outside of a couple months in his rookie season, his three-point shooting has fallen off a cliff to the point that he's getting away from trying it at all. Allen, as we know, is a rim rolling big. So you're playing with two centers. There's going to come a point where they have to make a choice on one of them. And where a lot of teams run into is, okay, we saw a glimpse of what we thought might be a generational talent. We can't give up on that. We have to try everything to tap into that. But at the same time, we have this short thing. We know what we have with Allen right now, and we've seen when we give him the space, we've seen the consistent production from him, right? He's older though, and we know his ceiling isn't as high as what Mobley's theoretical ceiling is. So the big piece is going to be, sorting out what ends up happening in the front court, or do you keep trying it out, for a couple more years? To what Lou just said, though, you may unlock it some if you had the right person at three, right? That was a consistent threat that from distance that garnered being played 30 to 35 minutes a night. When you have that hole at three, because Okoro isn't it, Dean Wade once a month is it, Niang is too slow for the three, LeVert's not it, right? You have all these pieces that you brought in, but none of them have been their solution at the three. So you basically have a conundrum at the guard, a conundrum at the centers, and you don't have at least a piece that ties them all together.
Facts. What more do we need to say about the Celtics? Is there any concern that they gave up that one game decidingly? And also this game was really close till about the fourth quarter. Any concerns in regards to the Celtics? I know one will say, keep in mind, Kristaps is out still, but any concern? Anybody can answer.
I'd say real quick, just to flip concern to a positive. What I will say about the Celtics is give credit to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They've had 8 years now of building chemistry with one another, and the repetitiveness that we're talking about with Cleveland at both their front court and back court that we've seen with a lot of duos. You mentioned DeRozan and Levine, Brown and Tatum. They've got their chemistry and their symmetry down pat. I'll give them that. Now, sometimes they make bad decisions together because they both love to take a difficult jump shot. But you don't feel your turn, my turn, and frustration between the two. They've got they understand their roles and their partnership very well. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they worked out the kinks for sure. And I mean, Hans, I think you just alluded to what I was gonna mention. I don't think there's any concern The only reason why I don't think this has been a blowout sweep is because, KP isn't there. KP changes the complete dynamic of what the Celtics look like. Drew's been looking great, and I think they're a little relaxed. Yeah, do they play the little close for comfort? Probably, but they're in control when they're playing the game. Whether the game is close or not, they're clearly in control. I mean, obviously, other than the game that they gave up, but gentlemen sweep, and then they'll be waiting for whoever they'll meet at the conference finals.
All right. Speaking of the conference finals and whoever they'll meet,
Set up for this one.
here you go. You got to show the orange off, the Nick orange. The Knicks on Mother's Day. Knicks and Pacers played. The Knicks lost. Celtics got it out, a win. It was close throughout up until the end. Now, I'm going to start with you, Av. As our resident Knick fandom fanatic, whatever you want to call it.
Just watch
What's your key?
basketball, man.
Yeah, man. I feel you. What are your key takeaways from this loss on the Knicks side?
So I mean, the obvious points are there. A game of attrition. We're dropping like flies. We're missing integral pieces of our roster. All right. Needed game 3. Game 3 was right there for us. Lose it off an improbable 30-foot shot, and then not able to get a shot at the end. Coming into Sunday up 3-0 versus 2-1 would have made a tremendous difference. We're leaning on, 3 or 4 guys that are playing a lot of minutes. And I think that Sunday was a matter of we're playing, but spiritually we're not in it. Once it started rolling downhill, because so much of what we've provided has been effort, effort and symmetry, right? Over the course of this playoffs. The Pacers, they've tried everything. Well, not everything. They've tried multiple things to really start beating up Brunson. They moved to basically keeping between Neesmith and McConnell on him for the entire game.
McConnell has been in his jersey.
He has. And we have to match that energy in order to to keep pace with the Pacers. No pun intended. And I think coming off of game 3, we just didn't have it. The OG injury hurts tremendously. Can't lie. OG was the piece that made our entire defensive identity flow smoothly 1 through 5, right? So, a game 4 in Indiana on Mother's Day with the series lead still, we didn't have it. Game 5 is going to be big, in essence, we kind of, waved the white flag on game 4 early enough in game 4 that, add a few more hours of rest to the legs, right? Because we got to show up Tuesday night.
Every second counts, man.
Every second counts, man. Every second counts.
You already know, especially with Tibbs.
Absolutely. So I mean, we know what we're dealing with, right? But we have to continue to push in the way that we've been. As I said, beginning of this playoffs, we're playing with house money, man. But I want to see us continue, obviously. And so game 5 is going to be big. I think we have to continue to hold serve at whatever the saying is. Win at home, okay? We have to continue to win at home.
Hold serve, sir. Hold serve. We
have to continue to win.
I got you. I got your back, man. I'm here for you, man. I watch Wimbledon. I'm here. I got you, man.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm here.
Yeah,
all right, Lou.
Yes, sir. Look, a flip on something that Evan said, because man, who knows the Knicks better than our dear brother, But the point about OG, he also, other than being a part of your defensive identity, he's a major piece in keeping the other team's defense honest based on what he's able to do on the court. I mean, look, to only have one starter that was scored in double digits is it's tough. I mean, Alex Burke scoring 20. I don't remember last time Burke scored 20. But
Listen, y'all unlock something though. You
Him
unlock
being-
something in Burks.
yeah, with him being the leading scorer for y'all, but
Yes.
yeah, I mean Evan made the right point, man. You guys just look like you weren't in the game for whatever reason. But you're gonna have to shake it off and get back into it. But I give credit to Indiana hanging tough in there, because I thought you guys would be able to gentlemen sweep these guys, mainly because I always believe in better defense wins over great offense. But when the shots start going, we've seen it. How New York has been able to kind of fear the storm and then come back in and finish it out. But didn't happen. Game 5. Let's get it, man. I still got my money on y'all. I'm not willing to accept that you guys are playing with house money. I genuinely think you guys are a better team. So
Yeah, man. Whatever. Who cares what Draymond says? So who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
it's because he was taking shots
I
at
just
your
wanna
team,
know-
Hans.
Yeah,
wanna know how
F
he's-
Draymond. I'll say it right now. F Draymond, bro.
I just want to know how he's doing in the playoffs this year. That's all.
Right, exactly. You sit in the same place that team you mentioned. You sitting right here next to us in Cancun, baby. You just got there a little late. It's all right. We had a drink waiting for you, Draymond. That's all that is. Well, I will say this before we move on to the West Coast. I'm not really buying into the attrition and to the lack of legs just because you guys have done it consistently all year. I think you guys were just due in the sense of that Indiana offense avalanches similar to how Golden State's offense avalanches. You could really be a solid defensive team and play solid defense.
They on.
But when they're on, there's
Yeah, they're
literally,
on.
we've been on the court. You know, when you're guarding that guy that's on a heater and you're literally doing everything, calling
What
the
they
name of
said?
Jesus.
The,
You're
they said
doing
the baskets in
everything.
ocean. Baskets in
You're
ocean.
doing everything. And this guy is just, he's scoring. And you're just like, you know what? It is what it is. That's really what I took from it. At the end of the day, you're still playing against one of the best offense in the NBA, the highest scoring team in the NBA, right? The only other ones that would rival them, I think, would be OKC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Not to mention the highest scoring bench in the NBA. All those you're just due for one. You're really due for one. That's just really what it is. If you want to use the gambling term, right? You can't win every hand. You're just due for one. The odds just don't stack up like that. I'm of the belief, although you guys did lose and now it's tied, I still think the Knicks are in control.
Yeah.
Just
Listen, for
because
some-
It's y'all series to lose, man.
I think just because when you're talking about like the identity of it, and we talked about this before, like a lot of this when it comes to playoff basketball, it's who's imposing whose identity on the game. Most of these games have been the Knicks' identity, and that has been solid. And if that continues, the Knicks are going to win because Indiana, they can fake good defense for a game or two, but that's not who they are. You're going to regress to the mean. That's just my take on it. But I didn't mean to cut you off, Ev.
No. I was about to cut you off, so you're good. I agree with what you're saying. It comes down to energy. We didn't have it Sunday, and to your point, it being due, we were due for a game where we didn't have it because we brought it every single game of this playoffs, right? For selfish reasons, I want this to go 7. Let's go Knicks. Win this in 7 for your boy. So I have no issues with where we're at right now. It's all going according to plan.
Nice. Love to hear it. Let's slide over. Let's do the LBBL slide, the OV host slide over to the West Side. And let's get into this West Coast matchups, baby. Let's start off with Let's start off with the defending champs, Denver Nuggets, evening up the series against the Timberwolves. For those who missed it, they won decidedly. Decidingly game 3. They handled that game. This game 4 was a lot closer. Anthony Edwards came out with a lot of energy. I say it was closer because there was a point in the game 3 where you're like, it's not happening. It's not happening. But in this game, the Timberwolves would, put together a little run here and there. You're like, oh, okay, maybe, kind of, no? And Ant he was living up to the call. He was living up to the call. They evened it up. I'll start with you, Lou, on this one. Given that the series is tied 2-2, is this a sign of fool's gold for Minnesota? Are they showing their old/youthfulness of not being here for 20 some odd years? Or is this the defending champs being the defending champs?
Yeah, the champs are being the champs. Throughout this series, I don't think you've ever seen a time. There's been a moment where Denver looked like they were particularly worried. If the game didn't necessarily wasn't going in the way that they wanted, if the shooting wasn't happening the way that they wanted, not worried at all.
They were worried when that French guy was at the hospital seeing his son be born. That was the last time the Wolves looked great.
A lot of unpopular opinions floating out there about this team with Gobert versus this team without Gobert.
Yeah, hey, I'm hearing a lot.
They don't need the 3-time defending champ, the defensive player of the year.
You mean 4-time?
4-time, my bad. 4
that
time.
defensive grifter.
A lot of simple reductive math out here.
Wow,
keep
Less is
cooking,
more,
though.
baby.
Keep cooking, keep looking.
Well, man, like similar to talking about the Knicks, how Davenport was their identity, and it's been, they've been in control. Denver, Timberwolves have done what they needed to do, being the best defensive team in the league. Again, great defense generally is going to carry you all the way through. But Denver shows why they're Denver, and just showing out just the amazing offense that they have. And not just amazing offense, but amazing balance that they have and poise to be able to, okay, down 2-0, cool. We can come back, win 2 on the road. I mean, win 2 on the road here and close this series up. You know what I mean? I think they're well within stride to be able to do that. But look at what Joker's doing. Like there's some of the stuff that Joker's doing. What Jamal Crawford called him Tom Brady at one point. Just again, how his IQ is, that pass right under the double team right down to Aaron Gordon for the dunk. Like that's masterclass type of stuff. And then having one of the few people keeping Canada relevant right now in Jamal Murray talk about being on the heater. Talk about being on the heater, man. Game 4, confidence through the roof, especially with that halftime buzzer beater. I watched it, I'm like, that's going in. I watched it again. It was kind of like when he hit the buzzer beater over AD. And then he just comes in the second half and just continues just to go on a rampage, not hesitating and just going straight at them. So Denver still, I think they're in the driver's seat. They made the adjustments they need to make. It's not at all, falling on deaf ears or blind eyes to see what Ant is doing. It's amazing, but he can't do it himself. Yeah, but how many? He's at 6 40-point games right now.
Yeah,
I think he has. I think he's at the most 40-point games right now for a player of his age, right? So he's doing incredible stuff on the court. Cat has been, I think. One of the biggest factors that we're going to see here is, can Cat continue to play how he's been playing? I think, in game 4, we've seen that, okay, maybe there's some chinks in the armor here, or is he regressing to the, is he back to the normal Cat?
13, sir. 13, sir.
My bad.
Don't knock him my point.
My bad.
You know what I mean? Like, so can you be that number 2 option that we're expecting you to come and play because now the pressure's off you. And Rudy Gobert, you're supposed to be able to hold down the defense, man. You guys out rebounded the team and still ended up losing, right? So where were you? Basically, is a question for Rudy. Where were you in terms of being able to hold down the defense? But at the end of the day, it's just great defense meeting better offense, and there's no other team that does it better than Denver.
I think when you look at Denver, and we talked about this last week when the Wolves had just went up 2-0 or about to go up 2-0 at that time. We're still talking about the defending NBA champions. Not only the defending NBA champions, we're talking with a team now that has, between 5 and 6 years of institutional knowledge. When you're talking about the Malone, Jokic, Murray combination, Porter sprinkled in there, Gordon coming into the fold, I'm picking up KCP. And just personality, Joker doesn't care, to get rattled, right? Murray, his playoff confidence is through the roof. What you saw from a team that got throttled in game 2 is a team that, took the lumps, heard everybody talking, could it be a sweep? Is it over for them? Whatnot? Got in the lab and made severe adjustments, right? Championship level adjustments between game 2 and game 3. Game 3, every starter shot over 50%, right? Game 4, the X factor that we talked about last week, Aaron Gordon, 27 points, 11 to 12 from the field. That chemistry with Joker and Joker having basically his best game of the series, right? Jamal with I'd say his best scoring output in game 3, but hitting big shots in game 4. We saw the team as a whole rise to the occasion. And honestly, Minnesota handled them in game 2. Denver handled them in game 3 and game 4, right? So what we have now is a series that's tied at 2-2. Both teams probably feel like, they're in control. But it's going to come down to what role players do you have more confidence in at this point, right? Cat has to do more. Cat has to do more, man.
Absolutely. Cat really has to be better. And what I applaud Denver for doing is basically saying, Cat, you're going to have to beat us in order for Minnesota to win this series. At the end of the day, Ant has arrived. He's on notice. He let everybody in the league know he's here for real. He's the real deal, getting all the GOAT comparisons. He's doing his job. Cat is the one that Denver is saying, you know what? We're not quite sure about you. We're really not. And what concerns me is we have applauded Cat for taking a backseat, saying, you know what, Ant, this is your team. You're in charge. Let me give you the torch, the reins, whatever symbolic item you want to use. You're the man. But they don't have the reps in. Lou, you talked about it in the Boston series. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they have the reps in. They've been in the playoffs multiple years after year with each other. They know what they need to do. They know how to pace the game. They are long. They're so far removed from your turn, my turn, as F so eloquently put it. Cat and Ant, they're not there yet. They don't have the reps yet. And I think this is what is going to be possibly the Achilles heel to this Minnesota Timberwolves. Denver has shown that, hey, y'all two ain't got it figured out yet. The only thing y'all figured out is what everybody in the world knows. Ant-Man is great. That's it. That's what y'all figured out. But Cat hasn't shown up. Rudy, he's rebounded, missed another game, but he hasn't been the guy to where people are scared to go in. He hasn't been that impactful to where he's slowing Denver down. And on the other side, as I've alluded to, you have all this experience, man. Jamal and Joker, they have their synergy. Joker and Aaron, they have their synergy. So it's really going to be a tall task of adjustments for them to do. And what I anticipate happening is Cat may come out with a strong game, but I think it's going to get into ways. It may clash a little bit with Ant's game, and you're going to get the same result. But that's just my take. I do want to point out there, though, in Atlanta, Ant has a mural. He has a mural on Lee Street. I didn't want to contribute to the bad driving that happens in Atlanta and try to take a picture of it while driving. But this weekend, if I have some time, I'll slide down to Lee Street in the hood and go ahead and take a picture of that mural and post it on our social media. But it's a nice mural, Ant's from Georgia. So I love it, though. I love that the city's showing him some love. 100%.
I wonder if
that's
the
super
injury
fire.
to my bad.
No, I was saying that's super fire that they have that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the injury to Chris Finch impacts this team's ability to make in-game adjustments, any being that he's not up, walking the sidelines, being the main one communicating to the team. Might be nitpicking or reaching for a reason, but the only reason I say that is what you laid out about that back and forth in the kind of cluttered offense that they had. That reared its head the whole season. That was my number one concern for them coming into the playoffs. But between the Phoenix series and the first game against Denver, it looked like they hit another gear of flow and chemistry in their offense, right? And haven't seen it since, the second game was such a blowout, such a defensive masterpiece that it didn't even really matter, right? But
Right.
It seemed like they were back to some of their bad habits over the weekend. And so, yeah, I'll be looking at that going forward for the rest of the series.
100%. So let's move on to the next matchup that we have that's currently going on as we record, the Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder. Right now, the Thunder are down by 10 points to the Mavericks. It's in the third quarter. I'll start with you, Lou, as you are a big Shea Gilly, as you affectionately call him, supporter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they're currently down right now 2-1 to the Mavericks. Who knows what's going to happen on this game. They're capable of making runs. From the glimpses that I've been seeing, Dallas has been in control for the most part, have been imposing their will. What I will say is, I don't want to get in too far into your point. Dallas has exposed something that we talked about early on, that they're soft on the inside, and Dallas has been having a field day with that. What does OKC need to do, man, to get control of the series, to make a difference, and to bring it home?
Well, one, they have to be able to figure out how to supplement for the fact that they have a issue with the controlling the paint, defensively, and how they do that, is going to be being on the coach. But outside of that, they pretty much have been doing as best as you can against this Dallas team, right? Dallas just kind of hit a new gear, and as a contrary to what we see with the chemistry with Ant and Cat, the chemistry with Kyrie and Luka is looking awesome. And it's actually it's only gotten better. So they figured out very quickly how to manage this. And obviously, this comes with having more experience in the league, having some more time, especially having such a great point guard, having two great point guards, and Luka and also in Kyrie. And the X factor, who's really came in and really is what's been able to help set them apart, with PJ Washington. PJ Washington coming in and giving them
looking like Ray Allen.
Yo,
boy, listen.
Yeah, man, it's just easy for him now. You have the two focal points of Luka and Kyrie, and he's able to, in essence, him, Tim Hardaway Jr., able to just sit out there and just really just eat up and light up from beyond the arc. And yeah, man, the PJ's playing with a confidence, with him being the third highest scorer on that team in the series. yeah, it's going to be tough. How do you stop these guys, right? And they're going to have to lean into just their defensive. They're going to have to kick it up on defense to really be able to try to slow down Dallas to have a chance. One of the biggest things that we talked about is, this was the number 1 seed, but how did we feel about this? This was a number 1 seed that we weren't sure how far they could really get. And a lot of it has to do with, their youth and inexperience. And then also, having an issue in the paint, man. Yeah, it's going to be tough if you're giving up 20 plus points in the paint every game. You know what I mean? So they're gonna have to figure it out. They're gonna have to get another guy to be able to bang down there with Chet. Chet is amazing, but
Chet's not banging down there though.
Exactly.
He's trying to his best. I'll give him credit.
He's not Wemby. He's not Wemby. He said no OVO. No OVO, no Diddy.
This guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, like he's not Wemby, but he's doing his best. But yeah, they're gonna have to figure out how to plug that in. Definitely, I mean, obviously not this season, but this is gonna be definitely a position that they're gonna be looking to kind of give him a second person in there to be able to bang with for moving forward if they want to continue to have that long-term success.
So
we know the playoff is a half-court game, so it always inevitably becomes a half-court game. So when it becomes a half-court game, you need to have a big that can really carry you through. Sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, you good. You good. I want to give Ev his credit, his flowers. He called it from early on in the season. They should have traded Giddey. They didn't listen. And that has also been a detriment to them. Teams are targeting Giddey. They're letting him shoot at will. And he dropped a whopping 9 points last game. And they're living with that. Now, to be fair, though, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gave them 31, and the next highest total was 16. So it's not just Giddey. He needs more help. Now, Ev, what are you seeing that you think we're missing on the Dallas side, outside of the spectacular play of Luka and Kyrie, and then Lou mentioned PJ Washington? What does Dallas need to continue doing to keep this up?
Defensively, they're doing two things that are interesting. They're allowing Shai Gilly to get to his spots, but he's not getting all the way to the basket. He's getting all the way to his spots where he could take his shot. Right. And so they're forcing him to listen. We're not going to foul you. We're not going to fall for the up fakes. We're not going to let you, continue to get our players in foul trouble at the paint. You can get to the elbow every time you want to. You can get to the mid-corner baseline every time you want to and shoot your fadeaway shots. And if you score 30 points doing that, that's fine. But we're going to let you do that. We're not going to let anybody else get off. You talk about teams, right? And we talk about great regular season teams, and that we have the question, okay, can you do it in the playoffs? They're holding everybody not named Shai Gilly to below their season averages in points. J-Dub threw 3 games down to 18, 19 points a game during the regular season. We knew a key to them going far in the playoffs would be him stepping up. Yeah, Chet down to 14, average 16 in the regular season, right? Giving you blocks defensively, but having to put up the rebound and fight with both Gafford and Lively all game, right? We knew that, that's an issue. You mentioned the Giddey, down to 13 minutes a game playing. Yeah, we knew, I said that all year. They should have traded him from the beginning. I also said at the trading deadline, they should have traded for a big, not Gordon Hayward, right? To give them some size up front. So what Dallas is doing is playing a disciplined veteran defense that is forcing Oklahoma City to not get anything easy and to fall into, I don't even want to say bad habits, but not allowing them to excel at the nuances that what made them better. You mentioned last week they led the league in turnovers forced and deflections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is, I think, the highest they've turned the ball over this series has been 14 turnovers. OKC close to getting 20 turnovers a game, right? So for the most part, protecting the ball as well. And why are you able to do that? When the ball's in Luka and Kyrie's hand for, 95% of the game. So, I mean, that just makes sense. They're, they
It's
have two of the three best players on the court almost all times. And when you have, I just named all the people that aren't stepping up for OKC. You name the person that's stepping up in spades for Dallas and PJ Washington. When you're getting that third person that's stepping up with that Kyrie Luka combination, where they don't even have to go off, but they just keep the pressure on the other team, and somebody else being a solid release valve. I mean, this has been the blueprint, the skeleton key for success for if Dallas was going to take that next step since Luka's been in the league. So at least to this point, and at least halfway through this game 4, that we see while we're recording now, that's what's taking place.
100%, man. And I love that you mentioned that they basically minimize OKC's strengths in the regular season, which were the deflections, the fast break points, because just like the Pacers would overwhelm you with their bench points, OKC would overwhelm you with their fast break points, which changes the momentum of the game and it plays into their hand. And I hate to just minimize it, but they can't score easy buckets. And as Lou stated, in the playoffs, you get more to the traditional half-court offense, and you need to be able to score easy buckets. And one thing that we've seen is Dallas has the benefit of having 2 exceptional bucket getters who can
And passers.
Yes, who can pass and set up their other players to get easy buckets. And that just is sometimes demoralizing when you have to not only defend that, but then go on the offensive end and have to pound the ball, move it from side to side. They're not letting you go up and down because they have some nice rim protectors. It's really difficult. But I do think that they'll make some adjustments. The games haven't been too crazy except for that one blowout, but I think they'll make the adjustments to make it competitive. But I'm not gonna lie, man, Dallas is looking really, really good.
And they're doing it without Tim Hardaway Jr. too.
He's back, but he's not.
Oh, is he?
He's not 100. Yeah, he's back.
He's not the he's not
the same, but he's back.
I
I stand by what I said.
The game 3. Not listen. NBA players could throw up air balls. I think he threw up one in game 3 though.
He did.
Yeah, I mean PJ Washington, talk about having the best situation you could fall into.
Yeah, he's playing. I mean, it's a narrative. He's playing for the home team, so
it's the best version of that trade. It's the best version of that trade in the trade deadline. If it worked out like this, it was going to be a valuable addition to them, and Gafford as well.
Oh yeah, for sure with Gafford. Yeah.
Gotcha.
At least somebody won a trade deadline. Continue.
We're running low on time. Let's do this quick exercise real quick.
Wait,
right
hold on,
now,
Hans. Should the Lakers have tanked for the 18?
We do not care about the Lakers, bro.
The Lakers have tanked for the 18, man. God damn, I'm starting to wonder. Now I'm starting to
We
wonder.
don't care about the Lakers.
So long. We went 50 minutes, man. I thought we were gonna do it. I literally thought we were gonna make an episode where we didn't mention them, but lo and behold.
I gotta get it in there.
We could title this show "What About the Lakers," and not talk about them anymore. This show,
and that
I had to get it in there somehow, some way. Anyways,
yeah, man.
Go ahead, Hans. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, he won't edit it out either.
Anywho,
all right, y'all. Of the 8 teams that are left remaining, let's rank them. Let's rank them real quick. 1 through 8. You guys have them ready, or do you need time? Do you want me to go first?
Feel free.
I have my list, but you can go first.
I have mine as well.
Of course, he has his list. All right. I'm going to start from 8. I have the Cavaliers,
Yeah, I think we're unanimous in that one.
Yes.
I have the Knicks.
You are bum.
Wow.
You're a bum. Okay, you and the Lakers bums. I hate you guys.
Go,
So sick
go
of
ahead,
Christian,
odds.
dog.
Number 7.
I'm so
My
sick
bad.
of him.
I had the
Number
Lakers
7.
12th on my list. You know, I like to go longer than
All right,
Hey, we're
actual
doing 1 through 8,
seven.
sir. We're doing 1 through 8.
I had the Lakers 14th on
We're
mine.
doing 1 through
so
8. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, the
about. We're going
14th, I
12.
like
Keep
that.
going.
I like that.
Anyways.
I like that.
Keep going.
I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about.
Number 7, I have the Pacers. Number 6, I have the Knicks. Number 5, I have the Thunder. 4, I have the Timberwolves.
That's crazy.
3, I have the Celtics. 2, I have the Mavericks. 1, I have the Nuggets.
That's crazy. What was that
I
for?
was about to say Dallas is very high on your
I think,
list.
I think
Dallas is-
Nuggets. I think Nuggets is 1, Wolves 2. That's for me. It is.
What are the rest of your 6, Christian?
3 is the Mavs. 4 is the Celtics. 5 is the Thunder. 6 is the Pacers. 7 is the Cavs. 8 is the Knicks.
Wow. And the reason I did
H-
that is because I
hate
believe
coming out
Dallas
hard.
can beat the Celtics.
And okay,
That's why.
well,
That's why I did
well,
why I did.
I was about
believe
to
Dallas
say,
can beat the
okay.
Celtics. But go ahead, Lou.
well, yeah, for me, I mean, no surprise with Cleveland as number 8. I have Indiana as number 7. Then I have the Knicks is number 6. I do have the Timberwolves at number 5. I have Dallas.
Timberwolves is so low, man.
Yeah, because I think they're just gonna. I do not think what they're doing is sustainable. I think they're gonna revert to who they really are. At number, I'm at number 4. At number 4, I have the Thunder. At number 3, I have the Mavs. And then I have the Celtics at number 2, and then I have the Nuggets at number 1.
It's interesting. Hans and I had the exact
Alright.
same list.
Oh.
Cavs,
You're gonna have the
Pacers,
Knicks as 1.
Cavs, Pacers, Knicks. I'm capable of having unbiased, objective.
Yeah, me
discussion,
too.
sir.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it. Cavs,
Really
Pacers, Knicks, OKC, T Wolves. I went back and forth on those 2. Celtics at 3, Dallas and Denver. And let me say 2 things. We're not ranking who we think is going to win the championship. These aren't our championship.
These are the 3-on-3 power
These are-
rankings, right?
Yeah,
Yes, I like
these
that.
are just
Yeah.
the power rankings at the moment.
Yeah.
And what I think, I'm going to say what I think happened here, right? At least what happened for me is we placed value on institutional knowledge / chemistry and confidence offensively. Is what I think happened in our rankings. The Celtics, for me, could be anywhere between 3 and 5 for the reason that without Kristaps against any of the teams in the West, I'm not 100% certain what I'm going to get against any of those top teams in the West. But with that said, they have the most defensive.
They have the most talent
Chemistry.
out of all the teams, but it just doesn't coagulate the same like Denver does,
Yeah,
right?
see, but and that's what I mean with KP on the floor. I have them as number 2, right? Clear number 2 over Dallas as well, right? Because again, I just think there's just too much that they can do on both sides of the ball. Without KP, the ranking of the Celtics then starts to look differently, right? So that's what went into my thinking, and I think realistically, yeah, even as great as we're seeing what's going on with Minnesota, I think them playing straight up against OKC can still beat them. Because at the end of the day, yeah, they might be soft in the paint, but Cat doesn't play in the paint, and I'm not worried about Gobert. So
No, facts. Well, thank you for ranking that, guys. Before we head out, the NBA snuck in the lottery picks real quick. The Atlanta Hawks got the number 1 pick. Just in case you were under a rock, because everybody was under a rock because nobody knew. But the Atlanta Hawks, they have the number 1 pick. So we'll see what happens, see how they pick, what's going on with Trae Young. So many stories that come out of
they're
that.
gonna pick up Bronny?
Lakers gonna do that. They're trading D'Lo. They're trading D'Lo to
How are we
get
trading
Bronny.
D'Lo?
So that's what's
They're
happening.
not trading D'Lo. D'Lo's not re-signing with them. Long-term
Yes, he
deal with the
is,
Magic.
man. He's resigning.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you
Why
want to
do you-
get more of
This
this,
fucking
check
guy.
out the OT. Slide on over. Do the OVO to YouTube and check out our OT segment. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, give us a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you can keep up with us every week. Be sure to follow us on all our socials at the 3on3 Podcast. Hey, got a question, topic you want us to talk about? Hit us up on our email at 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate y'all. Tune in next week.